Hi, I'm Coach Bill from Coach Bill Pickleball. Welcome to Drilling with a Purpose. I've seen a lot of different pickleball drilling videos, and some of them are very good. I have some concepts that I've never seen anywhere else, so I decided to make my own. In this video, I will show 8 foundational drills from one of my personal drilling sessions. Along the way, I will also cover my goals when I am drilling, finding a drilling partner, my mindset, and why drilling is important. If you're looking to improve your pickleball game, then stick around and see what I do to improve mine. Let's get into it. The most important thing to do when trying to improve your pickleball game is drilling. You get way more reps drilling than playing, and you can focus on whatever you'd like to improve on. If you want to work on overheads, it may take 3 hours of gameplay to get 10 overheads. When you drill, you can get 10 overheads in 2 minutes. I have not heard anyone else say this, but my main focus while drilling and what my drills are designed around is controlling the ball. The team that best controls the ball wins the game. Each shot and each drill intentionally has a small target, and repetitions enable you to more consistently be able to hit that target. Taking the ball out in front of you, hitting the sweet spot of the paddle every time, not taking unnecessary movements, and following through at the aiming points are my biggest 4 keys to consistency. Okay, let's get out of the classroom and onto the court with drill number 1, which I call dinking to the spot. This is the first drill that I use to get warmed up. I mentioned earlier about focusing on controlling the ball, and that means a small aiming point. Through the magic of video editing, I've included a yellow disc on the court where that aiming point is for almost all of the drills. In this drill, some people think that the aiming spot on the kitchen line seems too far back. I like that spot because it's a decision point for your opponent. I talked about these decision points in my first video on the shot making process. This spot makes them have to decide to take it out of the air or let the ball bounce. Them making the wrong decision leads to errors and winning rallies for you. If you notice, the aiming point moved closer to the sideline, which works on dinking to a right-handed opponent's backhand. You may also have noticed some lobs being thrown in. These are surprised just like in a game and work both on lobbing and getting this lob back into the kitchen. Time for another aiming point move, and this time it's going to the right-hander's forehand. I encourage everyone to videotape their drilling sessions and game sessions at least one time. Sometimes you think you're always doing something, and then after watching it back, you realize that you're not doing it. This was the case for me on this drill. Leaning over the kitchen line cuts the kitchen down for your opponent and lets you take more balls out of the air. I realized that both Drew and I were too straight up and down with our dinks. If you're practicing it wrong, these bad habits find a way of getting into the game. Drill number 2 is Dink Cross court. The spot changes from 1 to 3 on this one. The reason for that is the introduction of a dinking pattern. Since you want to mix up where you're hitting your dinks, this creates a pattern for that. First you hit it out wide, then to the middle of the box, and last to the middle of the court. I am continually focusing on hitting the ball with the middle of the paddle so that judging how much power to use is consistent. I am also working on taking the ball out in front, but there are cases where a sharp angle make it so that you have to improvise and get a ball that gets behind you. Going cross court, it is good to be aware that giving your opponent a sharp angle opens up those angles coming back at you. Now we switch sides to the backhand side for a righty. The drill is the same, continues to work on moving the ball around to the 3 different spots in a pattern. I focus on one of the cores of consistency, which is cutting out unnecessary movement. This includes taking a short backswing and keeping your head still. The less and more compact your movement is, the easier it is to repeat. The easier the movement is to repeat, the more consistent your shots will be. Beating the ball to the spot where you will make contact allows your feet to be stationary when you are hitting the ball. If you have ever seen a professional dart player, they are a great example of minimizing movement to gain consistency and accuracy. When they throw, their body is completely still except for their throwing arm. Here I attempt a surprise lob that ends up being short. On the bright side, it gives me a chance to work on my smash defense. Next up, we have drill number 3, which is fast hands. This one is preparation for getting into a firefight at the net. There is no yellow spot here, and the aiming point is right for the middle of the chest. You can see that we both just took a step into the kitchen. I usually don't drill something that would be illegal in a game, but taking more time away helps develop even faster hands. The middle of the chest is generally not the best place to hit an attack or counter, but the focus is on ball control and trying to keep the volleys going. If you can control the ball, you can get it lower or hit it to the non-paddle hip or shoulder during the game. The person to get it low first generally wins the firefight. Drill number 4 is drop and keep back straight on. This is the first drill on the list where each player is working on a different shot. For each of these, you switch roles halfway through, so each player gets equal time on each shot. One player starts at the kitchen line, then gradually makes their way to behind the baseline and back, all the while dropping each ball into the kitchen. The other player stays at the kitchen line and works on keeping the other player back off the kitchen line. The ability to drop the ball in the kitchen from anywhere on the court, hit at any speed, with both backhand and forehand, off the bounce, off the half volley, or off the volley differentiates a high-level player from a low-level player. This is the shot that puts food on the pro pickleball player's table. On the drop, the ball should be on a downward trajectory when it gets to the net in order to drop safely into the kitchen. Once the first person has made it back to the kitchen line, the roles are switched, the aiming point moves, and the other person starts working their way back while dropping the ball. The player that is keeping the other player back should aggressively attack any balls that are hit too high. This does two things. Gives feedback to your drill partner that they hit it too high. Also helps them working on dropping tougher balls. When it comes to the player trying to keep the opponent back, many people say that you should aim for your opponent's feet. I like the aim small and miss small concept better and go for something smaller than just the feet. The best shot versus someone in the transition zone is a hard hit ball at the knot on the shoelace of your opponent's non-dominant foot. Knowing this gives a small target to aim at every time you see it on offense and something to drill your defense against. Next we have drill number 5, which is drop and keep back cross court. This is the same drill, only dropping cross court. The aiming spot does not move, but the intent is that you cover every angle of every shot. I promised in the intro to talk about finding a drilling partner, and I do think that's one of the toughest parts about drilling. Your partner has to be on a similar skill level, has a similar schedule, live close by, be willing to work on the same things that you want to work on. One option is to get a ball machine, but they are very expensive and they can't play the fun drilling games that I will cover in future videos. This is one place where hiring a coach may be a good move. They are usually reasonably priced and have the added benefit of being able to diagnose and solve issues with your form. The aiming spot just moved again, and that's because we switched roles and I'm now dropping cross court. There is no substitute for these repetitions to develop feel and muscle memory to consistently duplicate these shots in the game. The doubles game is played at the kitchen line, and getting the ball to bounce in your opponent's kitchen is the way to get up there. Next, we have drill number 6, which I call drive middle spot. I think I need to fire my videographer because this one's not that easy to see. The spot is set on the center line, about 3 feet from the baseline on both sides. Both players exchange drives trying to hit that spot and keep the ball as low as possible to the net. If you want to work on your backhand, then you move to the other side of the line and take them from there. If you play singles, having a powerful, accurate drive will sure help your game. The drive is also very effective in doubles. If you'd like to know when to use it, I will put a card above to my 1, 2, 3 video where I included that. Next up is drill number 7, which is drive and block. I had some technical difficulties with this one, so I ended up using footage of a different 3-person drilling session. 2 players are on the baseline on one side, working on keeping their middle drives low to the net. The other player is on the other side at the kitchen line, working on drive defense. The three options for drive defense are let the ball go out, attack the ball to the back of the court, and drop volley into the kitchen. The game continues to get faster, and being able to handle pace from your opponent is a critical skill. Drill number 8 is overhead and defensive lob. Both players are in the mid-court. The drill starts with a lob from one player. The other player hits an overhead at the knot of the other person's non-dominant shoe. The defensive player attempts to throw up another defensive lob. This is the trickiest drill on the list. When it's windy like it was this day, it can be hard to make the shots on both sides. I generally spend about 10 minutes on each of these drills during a typical drilling session. I also like to do a condensed version of each of these before each time I play, but only spending a minute or two on each drill. I consider drilling games in a different category and have plans for upcoming videos detailing those, so like and subscribe to help others find them. Now that you know what to do, it is time to grab a partner and get out there for some drilling. Thanks for watching and have a good day.